Welcome to the recessed regular meeting of the Pascagoula City Council. Today is April 15th, 2025, and the time is now 6 p.m. Thank you to those who are in attendance in council chambers here at City Hall with us, as well as those viewing online. We're happy to have you join us this evening. Tonight, our invocation will be given by Pastor Jeff Floyd, and Councilman Parker will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts, acknowledging both your sovereignty, Lord, over the created universe, as well as your great grace in our lives that sustains us every day. And Lord, it's during this Easter season that we are especially mindful of the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who is our living hope, who's our Redeemer, who is the one who conquered sin and death. And it's because he lives that we not only have hope for eternity, Lord, but it's because of him that we have hope for our communities, our nation, and the world. Today, Lord, we want to lift up our mayor and our council. We're thankful, Lord, that they have stepped into these positions of leadership. And we ask, Lord, that you would grant them wisdom that comes from above. Wisdom that is pure and peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. And Lord, as they make decisions that affect our neighborhoods, our schools, our families, and our future, may they be guided by truth, by integrity, and a heart to serve the common good. Lord, in a time where division often seems to define our culture, we pray that you would raise up peacemakers and bridge builders among them. Lord, may this Easter season stir within their hearts and our hearts a sense of renewal, humility, and hope. And remind us all, Lord, that true leadership is found in service and true power is made perfect in weakness. And that as Jesus laid down his life in love, may we all be inspired to live sacrificially for one another. We pray, O Lord, that you would bless our city. May it be a place of peace, of safety, of justice, of compassion, and of opportunity for all people. And may the light of Christ shine brightly through your church and through this city and through every citizen through acts of kindness, truth, and courage. And we pray all of these things in the name of the one who is risen and who reigns, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Gentlemen, you have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
I have one amendment to the agenda to add an address to council item. We'll add that after community recognition. Tonight, Pascagoula Baseball is here to request funds.
Very good. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. First, we have a proclamation proclaiming April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Ms. Channing Bilbo, is someone here from Child Prevention?
Yeah, Shannon wasn't able to make it, but I'm Donna Thornhill and this is Jessica.
That's great. Y'all join me up at the podium, please. We're glad you're here. Whereas every child deserves to grow up in a safe, nurturing environment free from abuse and neglect. Whereas Canopy Children's Solutions is dedicated to helping children thrive and families overcome extraordinary challenges by providing a continuum of behavioral health, education, and family support solutions. And whereas the theme of this year's National Child Abuse Prevention Month, Powered by Hope, Strengthened by Prevention, reminds us that prevention is more than just avoiding harm. It's about creating opportunities for families to thrive, ensuring every child grows up safe, loved, and full of hope. And whereas the shared vision of Prevent Child Abuse America and Canopy Children's Solutions is a world where all children and families are living a purposeful and happy life with hope for the future by ensuring families have the support they need before challenges become crises, we can create a future filled with hope and opportunity. And whereas prevention is a shared responsibility that requires the commitment of families, communities, policymakers, and organizations working together to provide support and resources for children and families in need. And whereas the pinwheel serves as the national symbol for child abuse prevention, representing the hope, joy, and bright future that every child deserves. And whereas in 2024, Canopy's South Mississippi Child Advocacy Centers provided comfort, healing, and resources to 2,208 victims of violent crimes, reaffirming the need for continued efforts in prevention, intervention, and support. And whereas Prevent Child Abuse America and its partners work tirelessly to strengthen families and protect children through prevention, education, and advocacy, ensuring that every child has the opportunity to grow up in a safe and loving environment. Now therefore I, Jay Willis, Mayor of the City of Pascagoula, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in this city, and in doing so urge all citizens to join in the national effort to raise awareness and help prevent child abuse and neglect. Thank you again.
Yeah, sure. We'll pose for yours and then mine. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you again. And next we have a proclamation concerning Parkinson's Awareness Month. Is anyone here from the Parkinson's organization? Right, come on. How many in the city? Whereas Parkinson's disease is a chronic progressive neurological disorder and the second most common neurodegenerative disease in the United States. And whereas approximately 1 million Americans are currently living with Parkinson's disease, a number expected to rise to 1.2 million by 2030. And whereas 90,000 individuals in the United States are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease each year. And whereas Parkinson's disease is the 14th leading cause of death in the United States, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And whereas the estimated economic burden of Parkinson's disease exceeds $52 billion annually, including direct and indirect medical costs, Social Security payments, and lost income for patients and their families. And whereas while research suggests that a combination of genetic and environmental factors may contribute to Parkinson's disease, its exact cause and progression remains unknown. And whereas there is currently no objective test, biomarker, or cure for Parkinson's disease, nor a treatment to slow or stop its progression, and whereas symptoms will vary widely and may include tremor, slowness in movement, rigidity, balance difficulties, challenges with speaking, swallowing and chewing, cognitive impairment, mood disorders, and other non-motor symptoms. And whereas volunteers, researchers, caregivers, and medical professionals continue to work tirelessly toward improving the quality of life for individuals living with Parkinson's disease and their families. And whereas increased research, education, and community support services, such as those provided by the Parkinson's Foundation and other organizations, are vital to discovering better treatments and ensuring access to quality care in the future. Now therefore, I, Jay Willis, Mayor of the City of Pascagoula, Mississippi, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Parkinson's Awareness Month. Thank you.
Thank you.
So glad you came. Next, we have public comment section. We're pleased to provide an opportunity at each meeting for comments by citizens limited to 3 minutes of speaking time per speaker and no more than a total of 30 minutes. The public comment section of the agenda is not a question and answer session. The mayor, council, and administration officials will take all comments under advisement and may respond or take other potential action at a later time if warranted. Looks like we have 5 citizens signed up to speak tonight. The first one is Mr. Reesing. Yes, sir. Good to see you.
Please let me know if I go over 3 minutes.
I've got a timer.
I have a couple of complaints from last year. My sidewalk still isn't maintained in front of my house. It's broken up. And I took on a new parcel next to my house, and that sidewalk was never finished, as far as I know. And I've been down to Public Works, and no response, all from last year. And the street sweeper, the other thing is, going down Washington, this is right in front of the park, there's so much debris that, whether it's papers or balloons or whatever, that comes across into that curb, it just never gets swept up. I saw the street sweeper once last year. That was it. And I'd appreciate somebody following up on these things and taking care of them. I know I'm paying taxes. It's not cheap being down on Washington. I like the flowers that are in the city. You always put flowers next to the street. I love it. And that's a good use of taxpayer money. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Someone will be in touch. Next is Donald Dixon. Mr. Dixon.
Good evening, Mayor and
How
Council.
are you?
We have recently purchased the property at 1504 Roswell, and it's on the agenda tonight for being declared a nuisance property.
Are your comments about that?
Yes, sir.
You will have time during that.
During that session?
During that
Okay.
session. Is
Yep, that's correct.
That's
Yep.
correct. So
Thank you.
we'll get you
Yes.
then. Yes, sir. Jennifer Goodwin Nelson.
I think, Jay, I think the rest of these are all public hearing ones.
Is this about a public hearing property as well?
Both of those, I believe.
2520 Pinewood as well is a public hearing? Yeah, we will get to each one of those in order. Thank you for being here. First, we have
This
two.
is not for my property, though. This is in regards to the property.
That's good, yeah. Yeah, anybody speaking either way for the properties will certainly have that opportunity. Next, we have 2 public hearings from the Planning and Building Department. Mr. Church.
Hey, Jay, can we do the address to council?
I'm sorry.
Baseball.
Baseball, yes, sir.
Joseph Powell's here to speak for Pascagoula Baseball.
And he needs to be first because he's got ball games going on.
That's right. On duty. Good evening, council. My name's Joseph Powell. I'm the president of Pascagoula Youth Baseball, as many of y'all know. I come to you once again this year to request our annual funding that we receive every year. And for me, as the president of baseball and receiving taxpayer money, I feel an obligation to explain to y'all where exactly this goes. The annual amount that y'all usually give us goes straight towards our umpires and towards our scorekeepers and towards our registration fees. One of the reasons our registration is one of the lowest in the state, especially on the lower 6 counties, we are the lowest at $75. We know this is the low income city, and that a lot of our parents are single parents with single incomes, and so 3 and 4 kids to themselves, it helps out a lot. So instead of having them pay either $300, $400, $500, they're paying $100, $200 for their child or children to play Pascagoula Youth Baseball. When I took over Pascagoula Youth Baseball around 4 years ago, we are averaging numbers of around 240 children. This year alone, we are up to 550 children. That doesn't include overall of the additional 200 kids that are playing softball or the additional over 120 kids that we brought in from Gaucher and from Moss Point over the last couple weeks. With those numbers, you're looking at over 850 kids at the park at any given time, right? Especially on Fridays, there's 18 games going on at any given time at Pascagoula Youth Sports Complex. Okay, so you can see how far it's grown. And your funding goes a long way into that success. We're not able to do it without y'all, all right? It goes into helping those things that I discuss. But we're actually to that point now where it's time to start discussing expansion and additional things that we're going to need out the complex. We are maxed out, to say the least, out the complex with the amount of days that we're out there. And the amount of teams that we have. We have 48 teams this year, just Pascagoula Youth Baseball alone. All right, that 50, we're totally maxed out. It's time to split the leagues, and we're running American and national leagues and all, and we're having to lower the amount of games. We're mandatory that we have to play 12 games a year for each team to be able to go and be eligible for All-Stars. With All-Stars comes that, we're a state-of-the-art complex. People want to come to Pascagoula to play. Right, we've been told by George County, by East Central, and by others in Stone that we will come down and play in Pascagoula every single tournament that we can. One, they know what to expect with the facilities and their cleanliness, and they know what to expect when it comes to rules and regulations and the support they get from the city and that we get from the city. So with that, this year we're hosting the 10 and 12U state tournament for Dixie Youth. All right, this is where I get to where we're maxing out at the fields and all, because at this point, all we can host is a state tournament. If we want to host a World Series like we did in the early 2000s and in the early 80s, we have to expand upon what we got out the ballpark, and we have to have dedicated umpire rooms, and we have to have dedicated press boxes at each field and all. So I'm going to let Quinn lay kind of out those parameters, or what, because he's been working with it more often than I. And so we have a project that we would like your support in this year in developing a umpire room for the state baseball tournament this year. That will be out in the outfield behind Field 6 where the paving's going to go. So I'm going to turn it over to Quinn.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Quinn Brooks. I'm on the board along with Joseph. Conveniently, head of umpires out there. So, of course, this building's for me and my guys. So he asked me to come speak about it. We've recognized the need. We've gotten to a point to where the amount of games we're having at any given night or any weekend that we host a tournament, we've got anywhere from 12 to 16, 18 umpires coming out there at one time. And with the facilities we have now, we just don't have the space to accommodate that many guys, or the privacy for that matter. So we went about this and wanted to try to address it on our own, and trying to take that next step to expanding the facilities to where we could be able to host more tournaments that we want to get to. And we got with one of our sponsors, Coastal Roof Restoration. Is a local contracting company, and they proposed building us a 20 by 20 all metal building located just north of what is now a gravel lot that's going to be paved here soon behind Field 6. It's outside the fence of the complex, but still on the property. And the total the total quoted price of the building is going to be $24,814. We have gotten the drawings and blueprints and all that, and we've been talking with Mike from the rec department and kind of got his advice on what we can and can't do, or what would be permitted to do and stuff like that. And with talking to him, he has given us his blessing. He's okay with what we want to do. He said the next step would be, once we get the financials nailed down, would be to present it to city manager and get the city engineers to approve the location and all that, make sure it's not interfering with any utilities or anything like that. At our last board meeting, we sat down and discussed all our financials and everything, and We determined that at this time, financially, the league couldn't bear the burden of paying the full cost of the building. And considering that since it would be a permanent structure on city property, it would still be a city-owned building technically. It would be city property. So we are asking for help in financing it. Whatever y'all would be willing to help with, we could try to make it work. We would like to be able to do the project, have it ready before our big state tournament in July. The timeline for the building would be about 5 weeks is from what we're told, and that's from ordering the building to it being finished. So kind of in a time crunch, but it is what it is. If we can do it, great. If we can't, we'll keep working on a solution and keep moving forward.
Very good. Anybody on the council have questions of Joseph or Quinn? What a great facility. I'm spending a lot of time there with 5 grandsons playing baseball this year. 4 nights this week with multiple games.
You get your steps in.
That's right. But it is a true showplace, and we're so proud and proud of everything that y'all have done, and thank you for accommodating all these kids and giving them something to do. It creates character, it creates leaders, and the kind of things that these young people need to have.
Well, we definitely couldn't do it without y'all's support. Like Joseph said earlier, we deal a lot with other leagues around the coast, and I can tell you nobody has the support like we do, and we really are grateful for it.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all coming.
One quick question. Did y'all,
Yes, sir.
The rec board's all for this? Y'all have gone through the rec board and everybody's on board, or?
So with the building and all, we discussed it kind of in circle
Okay.
at the rec board. We didn't go for like a vote on it or anything.
Okay.
It was just a
Okay.
discussion point. We figured that we would go ahead and, since we were up here today,
Yeah, no,
request
two
for
birds, one
funding, that
stone.
we would go
Yeah.
ahead and do it. Now, the building is going to be aesthetically pleasing. It's set up, same color combination and everything else as the rest of the complex. It's not going to be like red and blue out there, anything else that sticks out like a sore thumb. The drawings and the engineering is to fit the exact same color scheme and everything that is already there.
It's not going to look like a Jiffy Lube.
Correct. It's not gonna look like a Jiffy Lube. It will be a metal building, but it will be the exact same color scheme and everything as the rest of the ballpark.
That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll look at it and be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming. All right, Josh, you're up.
Well, gentlemen, it looks like 90% of the agenda's got my name on it tonight, so I'm gonna try to get y'all in and out of here. The urban, well, this is backwards from the agenda. All right, we'll go ahead and do this one. I Drive One LLC is asking for a special use permit to operate a used auto sales at 4029 14th Street. The special use is something we changed here a year or so ago, that you have to have a special use in a community commercial. It has to be a certain distance from any church, school, daycare, or residence. This property meets all of the requirements. It's the former Twin City Motors. It's been there for, Matt, help me out here. Long time. We've had quite a few issues with Twin City Motors over the years, trying to keep that place cleaned up, keeping some decent cars out there. The owners, new owners of the building had enough, and Twin City Motors is no more. They have moved in and cleaned up the place. It's looking quite a bit better, looking out the window of my office and seeing that building. This property is located at the southeast corner of 14th and Telephone Road. The location is consistent with car lots. I mean, it's 14th Street. This has been a car lot for as long as I can remember. I was a kid. It was a car lot. It's the aerial view of it, of what it looked like. It's more of a junkyard. The gentleman that is wanting to move into it now. They've been over there about every day for the past few weeks cleaning up, making it look like something, and it's looking a lot better. Like I said, code enforcement's had issues with the property and the former owner and tenant for quite some time. New owners, new tenants seem to want to do something to make it a viable business. The request for special use is consistent with the review standards of 25C, and special use is consistent with the use standards of section 43D6C of the UDO. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer. The gentleman is here if you have questions for him.
Does anybody on the council have any questions of Josh?
I know in the past, a lot of our concerns have been about car sales turning into body work and turning into that kind of work. Is there any concern from
Well,
enforcement on that?
with this, all auto sales, they can do minor repairs to their cars. This place actually has a two-bay shop for them to do that in. All the work has to be done inside. Our biggest issue was there was cars jacked up, half taken apart in the parking lot. There was parts thrown out everywhere. Nothing there ran. It was a junkyard. So with the special use, there's perimeters he has to go by. If he does not go by those perimeters, we can remove that special use at any time.
So will there be a limit on the vehicles that'll be on the car lot?
There is by the size of the car lot. I mean, you can only park so many there. They have to be certain distance off of the right of way. It's a big enough lot. There's plenty of room there for the cars.
We can include as a condition of the permit that if they are not in compliance with the city codes, that the special use permit will be revoked. And something else to consider would be that it changes ownership, that it's revoked, so that the new owner would have to come back and, show what their plan is for the property.
Yeah, like Josh said, most of those that were on the lot for the last 10 years didn't run, so it was more or less a junkyard.
Yeah, I mean, he was there a few hours a week. Nobody ever bought cars. I don't know how he stayed there for as long as he did. I mean, they were for years, but everything is gone. They have made some major improvements to that property.
Is there anyone present to speak for or against this request for a special use permit at 4029 14th Street? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Lee Anderson. I the proposed tenant for the I Drive One Autos. My business experience is vast. I currently serve as the Director of Development for the Home of Grace. Home of Grace saved my life 21 years ago. Had a very successful business career with a local businessman here. Sold my businesses a few years ago and had a heart to work for the Home of Grace. I was serving on the board of directors and just had a heart to do more. This is an avenue to help men like myself 21 years ago to find gainful employment, job skills, and to give them a healthy, Christ-like environment to start their lives over again. I hope it's a moneymaker. I don't get into business not to make money, but it has a mission of a heart to help the men and women coming out of our programs to get a clean start in life. A lot of our men and women can sell ice cream to Eskimos, so it might as well go put them to use a little bit. But we're excited about coming to Pascagoula. Pascagoula is near to my home. I live in Ocean Springs. We moved here from Virginia about a year ago, and excited to get started. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions of Mr. Anderson before he gets seated? Is there anyone else here present to speak for or against this property this evening? Mr. Anderson, have you had any interaction with your neighbors, the Church of the Living God? How do they feel about having a car lot across the street again?
Through planning and zoning, we had to notify them. I did not hear a response for it.
No objections that you know of?
No, sir.
That's my only concern. Very good. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to approve the request for a special use permit at 4029 14th Street?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion passes, and that does include the provisions that our attorney mentioned, that the special use will be revoked if not in.
I do have one question about that. So in our lease agreement, I have right of first refusal to buy the property. If I bought the property, would I have to
That's
shut
not
down the business to get a new permit?
No, that's not a change of ownership. Very good. Next item, Mr. Church.
Next is our urban renewal plan. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Nichols. He's going to go over the plan with you. On the screen here is the letter of approval from the planning board from last week. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Nichols.
Welcome, Mr. Nichols. How are you?
We're down to the final few steps on the plan. We have the public hearing tonight, and then we have the adoption of the resolution, and we'll be done with it. Two things: the planning board did make a recommendation that it did coincide with the comprehensive plan of the city of Pascagoula, so we needed that. We've had about 30 days of comments. We've had it at the city clerk's office. The plan has been there. I did have one question I thought was a very good question. I want to share it with y'all and share the question and the answer with you. The question was, at the end of the plan, on the very last part of it, the last 160 so pages, it has a section, how we're going to treat the properties, and why did we not update that section? And the answer to that is, if you recall, when we started this plan, we had adopted a slum and blight resolution. And when we adopted that, that was kind of a point in time. So everything that occurred after that is based on the slum and blight designation. So I've never updated once we go in, well, I guess a couple weeks after we adopted that, we took all the pictures and made our documentation. So that documentation is there. Now, also one of the things I told you back then was I had to make a determination that 50% of the properties in that area were of a slum and blight designation or a need of redevelopment. So if there's ever any question from anyone about the plan, or if, I hope it don't happen, but if you ever get sued, you can always go back and say, look, we took these pictures at this point in time, and these are the conditions of the properties at this point in time. So we met that threshold. So anyway, I thought that was a really good question that you guys might want to hear, and it might have run through your head, the question did. So anyway, that's it. But anyway, we're here if there's got any comments, and then we can approve the resolution. And if anybody's got any thought of any questions since we met last, I'll be glad to entertain those also.
Does anyone in the council have any questions of Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, sir.
As far as the homes on Chico.
Yes,
the
sir.
ones that are north of Old Mobile.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure you've seen them. Are
Right.
those homes in bad condition, or what's gonna be required for the people? Is this a residence thing too, or just commercial?
Well, mostly, so far, what y'all have done with the downtown area has been commercial. Now, I did include all the residential. I think that at some point in time, you're going to have funding come down to do certain things for residential properties. Most of the time, it's for homeowners. And I would hope that you could take some of that money when you obtain it, and it can go to homeowners in that area. Then you get into the issue, if somebody's renting a property, do you provide money to a developer to pay their fees. Personally, I don't think so. But that's a decision that collectively you would have to make. But anyway, right now, your provisions are for all commercial property. We did address it. We wanted to be flexible in case money did come available, so we could do something, but yet, our focus is really on commercial.
And just to be clear, this is not in any way, shape, or form an effort to remove anyone from their home.
That's correct. We do not recognize any acquisition or relocation.
Right.
Main thing, yeah, I understand. So,
Right.
and I was wondering about that because I know there are some homes that are on Old Mobile that need some attention, but
Yes.
the north side of north of Chico, those homes look pretty good to me from what I've seen, and this will only be homes that are like on that corner of maybe Chico and Baltimore, New York.
Yeah, there's some homes in there that really need a lot of work, and the building department can address, once we get this plan approved, he'll start addressing those. But there's a lot of homes in there that are nice homes. Hopefully, kind of what you want to do is make it a commercial corridor, and those homes will either go away or they will become a commercial business. And that's kind of long-term what you kind of like to see happen. Several businesses along Chico and Old Mobile have come into homes and have went in and have very nice storefronts and look real good. And that's kind of what you want to be thinking about to happen in the area.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the council?
All right.
Is there anyone present tonight to speak for or against this request for the approval of the resolution for the East Pascagoula Urban Renewal Plan? Is there a motion to adopt a resolution approving the East Pascagoula Urban Renewal Plan?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion passes. This is a big day for Pascagoula, a terrific thing that we are undertaking to move our revitalization efforts to Chico and Old Mobile and that entire corridor. And we are opening bids tomorrow for the new East Pascagoula Police Substation, which we're awfully proud of. I think it's going to be a great step for the city.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Next, we have 6 public hearings for property cleanups. Mr. Church.
All right, our first up is 1504, that the gentleman and his wife were here earlier on. This is the property that I've been working on for almost 2 years. Nice house, just fell into a bad time. As of right now, we have new owners. They are wanting to move forward on cleaning it up. I have spoke with them, and we want to pass this through the file on our end. We finally got what we wanted. We have owners that are willing to fix it. Before it was a bank, and then it was another bank, and it was another bank, and we fought this thing for 2 years in circles until we finally got to the right person, and they got it for sale, and it's been bought. So we're very happy.
Don, are you comfortable with that?
That's all we want to do is fix the problem.
Have an opportunity.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for taking a dilapidated property in Pascagoula and turning it into what I know it will be. Thank you. Next one, Mr. Church.
Guess I should have showed you the pictures. Yeah. The pink house, as everybody calls it. I was trying to be nice. All right, 2033 Old Mobile Highway. This is another one that I've been working with, and the pastor of the church has gotten with me, and they have started the renovations and repairs of this. At this time, they have done 90% of what we've asked them. They have contractors have started this past weekend. They worked on it yesterday, trying to get the building painted and cleaned up and all the wood repaired. So this is another one that I'd like to pass in the file.
Mr. Church, is this a church that holds worship services in that
No,
location?
it belongs to a church. They have their storage, and a business is up in the front. This is it here. So you can see the building was getting in bad condition. We had people going in and out of the back of the warehouse that's in the rear. So they've closed that up. They're getting the building painted, everything repaired. They've done quite a bit in the past week. They rent out these spots up front, and the back is a warehouse.
So Josh, you're saying that people were going in the back
Yeah,
and just hanging out?
there was a guy that was back there for a while, illegally, moved in back there with cars and was doing auto repair and auto sales out of the fenced-in area. We finally run him out.
So is this property on the tax rolls?
You know, I don't know if it actually is on the tax roll or not.
If a charitable organization like a
It's-
church owns a property but doesn't use it for
Correct.
religious purposes.
And I'm thinking it is on the tax roll.
Get
Let me
back
see.
with me on that. I'm
No,
just-
it is. It's got a tax amount on it, so it is on the tax roll.
Okay, very
So
good.
they're gonna paint it and everything, Josh?
Yes, they are painting it. She came in with me a week and a half ago. Then she was in the office again yesterday, showing me everything that they've purchased for it. So we're getting a new facelift and repairs made to the building to make it look better. So
Next
she
problem.
has just recently taken it over, so we're making a shift to new management.
Next property.
Next property is 2206 Meadowbrook. This property goes back, it's condemned February of 2019. There was LOV sent again in 7 of 19, also on 20, 24, 25 over the years. The property is in pretty poor condition. It's hard to see, but the roof is pretty much caved in on this thing. There's a hole in the roof. We worked with the owners previously. They were trying to make repairs to it and just have not been able to make the repairs, and it's been going on for quite some time. You see the tarps on the roof there. There's walls, studs there. There's not sheetrock. There's plastic hanging, and it's the house is in pretty bad condition.
Are people living there?
He was at one time. So I'm not sure if he's going back and forth anymore. About my last discussion is that he had moved out, and this is what we've got.
So is the house salvageable?
Could possibly be. It's going to need an entire roof, decking, and probably some trusses replaced because the water has been intruding on this house for a long time. And the inside of the house has got, it's a 75% frame is what you've got. I mean, there's going to be some framing and plumbing and electrical that's got to be done, along with new roof and trusses, sheetrock. So, I mean, it's, as of right now with the 50% rule, I'm not sure this is going to make 50%. I mean, it's just, it's that close.
And did I see where this property is owned in an estate?
It is, yes, Mr. Diamond Estate, Jeffrey Diamond.
So these are his heirs?
His son has the house.
And does his son live here?
I'm not sure where he lives at the moment. He was living there.
And this has been on your radar since 2019, 6 years?
We had issues with it in 19. It got condemned for lack of water, and then it was just trash and debris and optical vehicles, and it was condemned again towards the end of last year for no water again, and that's when we've come across some of these other issues.
Is there anyone present this evening to speak for or against this property at 2206 Meadowbrook? Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for your time.
Sure. Introduce yourself, please, sir.
My name is John Diamond. I am one of the gentlemen in the estates. I took over the property after the death of my brother, and you can see like it has some landscaping and other issues going on. I've had all that corrected. I'm having new paint and stuff done on it now. You'll see where there was a car or two in the front. I've had all that removed. And then I just had some funds released to do the roof and such.
So have you had conversations with Mr. Church?
Yes, sir. Yes, he's been more than forthcoming and explaining to me a lot of the things, nuances that were going on. So,
have you pulled a permit to do the work?
I have not pulled my permits because I need to. I've had I had a medical condition last year, and I've been going through, and I just got cleared for it. So, but funds were kind of an issue. It was really tight, but.
So, yeah. Mr. Diamond, what do you see the future of this property being?
Well, I'll be honest, man. I want to keep it. I want to put the new roof on it. I'm trying to keep it as my father's. He worked for the county for 34 years, and you have a lot of people have a lot of attachment in the neighborhood and through this home. So it would really mean a lot to me to be able to keep it for my family.
So do you need more time to get the roof replaced and make significant improvements, and you understand you can't do that without a permit?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And a plan to get it done that puts it at less than 50% of the cost, the eventual value of the structure.
Yes, sir.
If it's more than that, we can't issue a permit.
I understand.
You understand those?
Yes, sir.
Josh, what kind of time does Mr. Diamond need to show you that he's moving forward?
Our last discussion, we were talking about the cost of it, and he was going to try to figure out where he was at as far as cost, what it was going to cost him to get this done. I mean, if we want to give him a 60-day time period with a resolution on it, and, or we can bring it back either way, however you wish to do it.
What's the pleasure of the council tonight?
I say we do a 60-day. Go ahead and declare.
I'll second it.
So that means you will have 60 days, if declared a nuisance and menace, to show significant improvement and have all this underway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was my understanding. A lot of it is just because of the landscaping and the driftwood and such a matter that I'm familiar with HOA standards and certain things that you can do if you fall under HOA. There's a new thing here that I didn't realize we had certain rules to follow as far as what we can have and what we can't and such.
It's part of our UDO, our building codes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ordinances, yeah.
And I can say I think the driftwood is the least of the problems.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay.
You know, I knew your father. He was a great guy.
I appreciate that.
But the neighbors have looked at that for a long time, and I've got a lot of complaints on it. That's not really my area, but there has been a lot of complaints, and they're tired of it looking like it is, and it really needs to be improved.
Yes, sir.
And I hope you understand our situation that we're in facing this, that this isn't fair to the people living around you.
Well, I will say I'm blessed, man, for the neighbors I have. I've got incredible people around me, and it's a great neighborhood. It's got a lot of history to it. And the worst thing I want to do, especially like the ones that have their young neighbors, they've made good decisions. They've spent their money well, and I'd hate for my neglect or whatever kind of fall back on them. So
very good.
If anything else, I'm
it's
gonna
beautiful.
do the right thing.
It's a great neighborhood, and I don't think anybody wants to see a vacant lot right there. So.
Yeah, right. But yeah, and 60 days would be great for me.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond.
And I appreciate your time. And thanks again.
Is there a motion to declare 2206 Meadowbrook Street a menace to public health, safety, and welfare, and assess a penalty of 25% to the cost of cleaning with a 60-day window?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
All right, next up is 2520 Pinewood. Most of you know this property because of the amount of complaints we get on it. This is the corner of Pinewood and Bel Air.
It's Pinewood and, not Bel Air, Pinewood and.
Comment?
Bel Air.
It's Bel Air.
Oh, Bel Air.
Yeah.
It is Bel Air.
The main complaints we get, I know y'all get them because y'all call me about them, is the amount of vehicles and the stuff that's sitting around in the front yard.
And
I know.
the type of vehicles and the
Yes,
type of.
type of vehicles and this. Mr. Tanner's issue is he has no backyard. When they built his house on the corner, he's got like 10 feet from the back of his house to the property line. This, to the right there of this photo is the alleyway that runs back there. He moved stuff that he could to the rear of the house, but the rest of it, there's just nowhere for him to put it. This was pictures that Code took this morning, I believe, or yesterday.
So what are you asking for here, Mr. Church?
Yeah, I mean, the parking ordinance, if the cars run and they drive, they're parked in the driveway, that's fine. Having the boats parked out in the front is the big issue, and the trailers being in the front is the issue. That's the main complaints we get. The trampoline being out front, that's a liability for him. That's not on us. I mean, that's an insurance liability for the homeowner. So there's nothing there we can say about that. But it's the, complaints we're getting, the barrels sitting out front, the trailers, the boats, jet skis, golf carts.
Makeshift fences.
Yeah, every time I turn around, it's different complaints. He needs to find somewhere to put this stuff that is not in his front yard.
And you've explained that to him?
We've talked to Mr. Tanner before. He's cleaned it up multiple times. And I know it's an issue for us. It's an issue for him for having to store his stuff. And he's in a bad way because he has no rear yard. He has nowhere to park anything. He has no garage to put anything in because he has no rear yard. So he's kind of in a bind, and I know everybody in the neighborhood is screaming at me. They're screaming at y'all. We need him to move the stuff. The stuff needs to be moved.
Is there anyone on the council, any comments or questions for Mr. Church about this property? We have seen this a number of times.
Yes, I mean, it's came up multiple times, and I've talked to Mr. Tanner. Code enforcement has talked with him. He's moved the stuff before, and I know it gets expensive trying to store stuff.
So is there anyone here tonight to speak for or against this property? Are you the property owner?
Yes, sir. I have moved stuff several times. Like Mr. Church said, I don't have a backyard. It's 10 foot wide, about 60 foot long. I got a permit a couple years ago, strictly just based on I didn't have enough driveway, or actually my boat sat out in one of my driveways for probably 4 or 5 years. I never had a complaint, never had trouble.
But you know that doesn't meet code. You're not supposed to have boats in your front yard, right?
Correct. I was told that as long as it wasn't a boat over 25 foot in length, I couldn't have the boat in my front yard. My boat is 23 and a half foot. The code enforcement guys have come out and they've measured it several times. I've got with Josh, I spent $5,000 and had a gravel, the limestone driveway poured, and was told that I could store my boat and my trailer on that side of the yard where they're sitting at currently in the picture. I was told that was fine. I spent my money so I could store my stuff there. And to be honest, Josh is aware of it. My biggest complaint that I'm getting, and the reason why, is because I adopted some black children and my neighbors don't like it. They've come to me several times, and I hate to bring that up, but it's been an issue, and it's been an ongoing issue. And it's one thing after another.
Well, I remember a school bus that you
I do. I have a school. I've adopted a lot of children. I have 12 kids at home.
In this house?
Yes, sir. And so I did. I got a school bus that I kind of converted over, so making family trips and stuff like that. It just makes it easier, but
And where do you store the school bus now? Because it's not on the property.
correct. I took it to a buddy of mine's place and I left it there. I don't really like it because I don't really pay attention to it now as I was before when it was at my house. But I did that to try to stop the commotion of, the neighbors. But it's just, I can move stuff around, but I've only got so much space with what I got, and I've already spent the money that I could to put my stuff where I was told I could put it, and now it's still an issue.
And you own this house?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tanner, I've been on the council almost 8 years now, and your house has came up more than any property I've ever had calls on. You're in a high visibility area, and it's constant. There's a car on jack stands, or there's a boat out there being worked on. It's just not a good look. And these are all violations. So we let you do this, and the neighbor across the street gets to do it too. So, I mean, it's just not, you're going to have to come to a resolution here somehow.
I understand the vehicle and jack stands. I mean, I'm just trying to work on my vehicle. I'm just one person trying to work on my car.
And that's okay for a weekend, but I mean, when it sits out there for a week or two, and these vehicles sit out there, and the jet skis, and the boats, and the tractors, and trailers, I mean, it's not a farm.
I understand that, but I pay my taxes too, and I did everything that I was told that I was to do. Had that driveway put in, I got my permit to do it, and I was told I could park my stuff there. Now, why is it a problem? All my stuff, nothing is on the grass, but I promise you right now, everybody up here, I could leave right now and I could show you 5 other houses on my road where their boat and their cars are parked in their yard, and you can see where the grass is gone. Nothing's sitting in the driveway. They got the whole driveway wide open, but my house gets called on every time.
Well, Mr. Tanner, if I lived across the street from you or next door to you, I would be pitching a fit that I had to look at this every day. And I know that it probably doesn't look really bad to you, but it really is not fair to the neighbors that they have to be next to something that has this many assorted vehicles, toys, whatever it is, and cars parked in front of your house. That's not fair to anybody else around you. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to give some of the other folks here to speak an opportunity to share your comments. Come on up to the podium, please.
My name is Jennifer Goodwin Nelson, and I live next door to this. It's not only that the car is jacked up, it's now become storage for their stuff. So we're not only dealing with that. Their dog kennel that they do have, I have pictures that y'all can look through that was taken last week, even on the side of the house. It's the dumpster that's covering their dog kennel so the dogs don't come out through it. The Walmart buggy that's in the yard. So for that to say that none of his stuff is in the driveway or is on the grass, the picture that Josh did take from today is one of the pictures that I do have as well, and it's still being parked in the grass. If they have things, there's things that from their yard that has been put in my yard as well. I'm a taxpayer just like they are, so for them to also say that because we're racist, we feel this way, that is not true. I would like to keep my property value and the ability that one day I will sell my home to not be marred by this. Because if I were to sell it tomorrow, there's a house that's on our street that has been on the market and it's still not sold. So that is the only thing that we're concerned with in regards to the property.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Can I speak? And I'm sure, like I said, I've talked to many people here. This is all a war about chickens. That's what this whole thing started over, was a war between dogs and chickens.
I got dogs in my kennel. My dogs, her chickens got out. Some of them got in my yard. My dogs ate them.
Mr. Tanner, we're hearing from a whole lot more of your neighbors than this lady.
Yeah, I
I can't say your thing.
I understand that.
I can't imagine you would say this is all about chickens,
No,
because
no,
it's
no.
not.
I understand that, but, you know, to my understanding, my vehicles, as long as they're running and they're registered, and they're in the driveway and not in the grass, they're legal.
Right.
And the guys that I spoke to at Josh's office has also told me, Mr. Tanner, they can complain all they want to. Your vehicles are registered, your vehicles are legal. And I did the driveway like I was supposed to. Now, I've also made a complaint about these chickens that are within 30 feet of my house that are supposed to be more than 100 feet away from my home, and nothing's being done about that. They've also shot my dogs. They shot my window and broke my window.
With my kids in the house.
I've got an officer, I've got 2 complaints. I didn't file charges.
They told us
But my dog got out the kennel. The reason why I got a lid on top of that is because my dog got out and was walking in the yard, and she took a picture and filed charges on me.
We've heard enough. We're not getting into personalities and disagreements, you know, from one to the other. I'm sorry.
I have video and photo documentation of anything that y'all do need to see.
So
let me say this. I'm in the same boat you are. I just moved to a very small home with not much of a yard, but I had to take it to storage. I had no choice. You got a lot of toys. Unfortunately, you don't have much yard, so you're going to have to figure out something to do with them. I know there's things going on between y'all two, but like they said, I think everybody on this council over the last 2-3 years or more have had a lot of complaints about your house. I'm sorry, just the way it is.
No,
People don't like the way it looks, but I understand you don't have a yard, but that's unfortunate.
But your rights end where your neighbor's rights begin, and we all have property rights wherever we live or whatever's going on. And the kind of things that you're doing at your house are not acceptable. So we need to move forward and, you know, give you an opportunity to clean it up so that we don't have to. But in order to do that, we need to declare it a menace to public health, safety, and welfare. So that's where we're going tonight.
Okay, I understand that. So
Okay.
what exactly is it that I need to?
We'll
move
talk about
to go?
that. Is there a motion to declare 2520 Pinewood Drive a menace to public health, safety, and welfare, and to assess a penalty of 25% to the cost of cleaning?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council?
What I was gonna recommend was, you may have to sell something, you better put it in storage, just like, Councilman Chris said, about, he had to do the same thing, so just unfortunate that you have a house set up like that, but we wish the best.
I understand, I get that.
But the
just
city neighbors too.
Like,
because,
like my boat and stuff. I paid $5,000 to have a driveway put in so that I could keep my boat there, so I didn't have to put my boat in storage. So,
The question about the boat and the length of the boat and where it should be has to be resolved with Mr. Church at code enforcement. He knows what the rules are, and that the boat is the least of your problem, from what I can see looking at these pictures. And I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's just the case. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Okay, fine. I just had a question. It's just cleanup,
I'm sorry.
right?
Go ahead.
It's just cleanup, right?
Clean up.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Any opposed? The motion passes. And you'll need to get with Mr. Church to figure out exactly what you need to do for the city not to have to show up and begin hauling your stuff away. Okay?
okay,
Thank you, Mr. Tanner.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goodwin. Next property, Mr. Church.
All right, our next property is 4407 Market Street. This property was a house that was sitting there. You couldn't really see the house from the trees and the grass that had grown up around it. The first letter went out in 2020 on this. They started cleaning it up and then quit. So back a few months back, we sent another letter, and the owners and family went over there and they have torn the house down, removed the shed, and is still cleaning the property. So this is another win for the city that we can remove this one and pass it to the file.
Next property, Mr. Church.
Next property is 5504 Orchard. This was the old recycle center that's fenced in out there. We were trying to get the grass cut and the property cleaned up. It took us a while. We finally found an owner. The addresses that are with the county weren't getting us in the right place, but we finally found somebody. We got letters to them. They went out and immediately cut it. He has a contractor that's out of Moss Point that's supposed to be cutting this thing every couple months. He said he's been paying this guy for the past year, but nobody's cut it.
And the owner doesn't live anywhere here?
It's a company, a corporation that's out of Virginia.
Looks like they've done some fence work too.
Yeah, he hired the contractor to go in to clean the property, cut it, and repair the fence. Because we sent him copies of the pictures, and we have his phone number and address to contact him if we ever have any more issues. But they have resolved our code issues with that property also.
Does he have any plans for the property?
As of right now, no. Not that we're aware of. I know there's many people tried to buy it, but it's not for sale. They just don't sell.
Well, we need to make sure they keep it
Yes.
presentable.
Now that we have contact, it makes it a whole lot easier.
So you're passing that to the files?
Yes,
also?
sir. Yes, sir.
Very good, thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. Does any member of the council have any questions about the consent agenda? Do we have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Next, we have city manager's agenda items. Mr. Larson.
Yes, sir. The city received 4 applications to fill the vacancy on the Pascagoula Redevelopment Authority from the expired term of Mr. Jimmy Estabrook. Tonight, we have, I believe, 3 of the candidates here with us tonight for interviews. So we will start that off with Ms. Beverly Cook.
Welcome, Ms. Cook.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting all of you.
Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Certainly. My name is Beverly Cook. I'm originally from Pascagoula. I grew up here. My father and mother grew up here. Their father and mother, their parents grew up here. So I was a lifelong resident of Pascagoula, but then I decided to take off and go to California. And I went out there and stayed for about 40-some years. And I practiced law out there. I worked most recently for the City of Los Angeles in their Economic Development Department. I retired in February of 2022, and at that point I decided to return here to relax and enjoy my family and live the leisure life. I purchased property at City Dock, which I'm enjoying immensely. I'm enjoying my time. I took about 2 years to rest, and now I decided that I needed something to occupy my time. I saw the opening for the PRA, and I decided to throw my hat in the ring and to see where it goes. So I have experience with redevelopment and also economic development.
Very good. Tell me who your parents were.
Leonard and Gertrude Cook. My grandfather was Fred Cook. He had property next to the high school and sold strawberries and...
Fred Cook sounds awfully familiar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fred was a guy, I don't know if it's a Fred that she's seen, but I think it's an older Fred that played with the Baltimore Colts.
Oh, that's right.
That's my cousin. My grandfather was Fred Cook as well. So.
Very good. So does anybody on the council have questions of Ms. Cook?
So you live at City Dock and you've got to see everything that's happened downtown. Where do you see it going next?
I think with Amtrak coming, I see greater expansion. I think with the businesses on Delmas. When I moved here, I was looking for a place that was walkable. I was tired of driving, and I can park my car and walk over to Delmas and shop now a little bit. Not as much as I'd like, so I'd like to see some greater expansion. I know you have restaurants in there. but I enjoy the ability to walk. And with Amtrak coming in or restarting, I think hopefully it will bring more tourists in, and you can walk over to Delmas and explore what's going on there. So hopefully that will be a boon to the city itself to bring in more revenue, additional tourists. And so hopefully, I saw bicycles at the Anchor, I guess it's the Anchor building where they have apartments there. And people can get on a bicycle and go for a ride. And I don't know what else can be brought together so that people can get off the train and explore in the afternoon, get back on the train and go about their business.
Thank you.
Ms. Cook, when you were in LA, what did you do? What were you part of? Was it inner city? Was it outside of the LA?
Well, the City of Los Angeles Redevelopment Agency was actually, it had 32 redevelopment project areas. And it was actually a separate entity from the City of Los Angeles. It was dissolved actually in 2011 because of a dispute with the state legislature over the monies. They thought that the CRA was circumventing the Constitution by loaning money that exceeded the constitutional limits. In any event, they dissolved it. But at that time, it included mostly the urban area, but they did have 32 distinct project areas. And most of them lasted for about 25 years, so you probably have a few of them that still exist.
Quite interesting. Well, until a few years ago, when the PRA started functioning, we had no downtown living opportunities. And now we have 75 probably units that people are living in and all occupied. You're our success story in bringing someone who grew up in Pascagoula back to Pascagoula to live downtown and appreciate the things that are going on downtown.
Right. I'll admit it probably doesn't go in my favor, but I looked in Ocean Springs.
Oh, you're talking our language now.
And decided that it was too crowded, and also that I would have been buying litigation, and I didn't need that. So my dad and I had been looking at the property on the riverfront for quite a while, and he kept me posted about what was going on.
So you bought one of the new townhomes
I
down
did,
there?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did. And I've enjoyed it immensely. It's very quiet and peaceful down there.
And you can't beat the view?
I can't beat the view, no.
It's just wonderful.
No.
So good, thank you. Any other questions of Ms. Cook? Thank you so much for your offer of public service. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Mr. Brian Hinkle.
Welcome, Mr. Hinkle.
Good evening. How's everyone tonight?
Everybody good.
How are you?
Tell us about yourself.
Sure.
And your interest in the PRA position.
Yeah, so my name is Brian Hinkle. I'm essentially a lifelong resident of Pascagoula. I was a graduate of Pascagoula High School. Went on to the University of Mississippi, graduated there. And after my wife Katie and I got married, we lived in Gulfport for about 2.5 years, and then moved back to Pascagoula full-time in 2004, and have been a resident here ever since. I have 2 children that are, one is was the valedictorian at Resurrection High School last year and is now a freshman at the University of Mississippi. My daughter is a senior at Resurrection High School this year. A couple of things. From a business perspective, I've worked at Ingle Shipbuilding since 2002, held a bunch of different roles of responsibility. Most recently, I was the business manager for our LPD program, which is a multi-use ship that we build for the Marine Corps, and handled about between $680 and $800 million revenue per year on that program. And I've done everything within the program from having profit and loss responsibility to doing business case analysis for capital expenditure projects that we negotiate with our Navy customer. I've got experience in contract negotiations. We had a very successful negotiation last year where we just recently signed the contract for the next 4 amphibious assault ships that we're going to build at Ingalls that should keep us busy through 2035. So very proud of what we've been able to accomplish on that program. About 4 months ago, I took another opportunity within the company, and now I'm over all of our financial planning and analysis teams. So I have responsibility for all of our annual operating plans, for keeping the corporate office briefed on what's going on financially within Ingalls and how we relay that messaging to both our board of directors and to our external investment community. A lot of business experience, I think a lot of pertinent business experience that could help me as a member of the PRA. And it's probably worth mentioning as well that I do have firsthand experience with the PRA. As many of you know, my wife Katie and I came before the PRA a couple of years ago with an idea to buy a building on Delmas Avenue. And with the help of the PRA and the money that was generated there, we were able to do that, and now that has become a successful small business retail and mixed-use facility with 2 one-bedroom condominium units as well. I have a firsthand knowledge of what good the PRA can do whenever it is met with a willing citizenship base, and I think the opportunities that we have still here in Pascagoula are endless. I'm excited about what's happened downtown Pascagoula. I've seen it with my own eyes. The transformation that's happened over the last few years. I'm excited about the focus being shifted over to the Chico Street corridor. I think that is pretty much a blank canvas, and a lot of good things can happen over there as well. So that's kind of my nutshell remarks about my personal background. So,
any questions from council?
Yeah, so kind of mentioned the East Pascagoula, and East Pascagoula a lot different than the downtown. How do you kind of see that playing out, or what might happen over there as compared to downtown Pascagoula?
Yeah, I think a lot of what's been focused on in downtown is because of the kind of the Delmas Avenue corridor being that walkable and livable area where your focus can be within restaurants, within retail opportunity, within smaller mixed-use housing units. I think that Chico Street corridor is a little bit more of a commercial, just the way the size and the demographics over there are, there's more commercial space to be developed. So probably a little bit of a different footprint, but can kind of keep some of the same characteristics that we've been able to develop through the redevelopment of the downtown area.
So what do you think about Old Mobile? Since you said Chico,
I've kind of referred to that as that intersection, Chico Street and Old Mobile, I kind of think is sort of that ground zero for that area. So I would say those.
It's a entire stretch of Old Mobile, so I'm just wondering about that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, no, I think there's
Market Street to Chico.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that whole Old Mobile Highway area is. I think there is plenty of opportunity available to us there.
Any other questions, comments from Mr. Hinkle? I want you to know personally, I appreciate the investment that y'all have made in Pascagoula, in downtown, and the new business that you brought to our downtown area. And it's important that our local people invest in our town, and the Hinkles are certainly a perfect example of that.
Well, thank you. That's very kind, and I agree too. It's been great what we've been able to accomplish down there.
That's why our future's so bright, is because we have people like the Hinkles that are living here and bringing their businesses here. Thank you, Brian.
All right.
So, Brian, do you see that with all the urban renewal do you see us being able to bring in other small businesses, small restaurants, things that would draw folks to that whole corridor between Oldville and Chico?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you see that happening?
Yes, it's that partnership, I think, between potential investors and the PRA the PRA enables people to be able to do things they otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And so I think that there are plenty of opportunities in that area. Yes, sir.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, last up, we have Mitch McCauley.
Evening, Mr. McCauley.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. My name is Mitch McCauley. I've run for this position before. Fortunately, tonight I'm not running against Mr. Suddeth. I'll try to stay brief since I've been up here before. I'm a Navy veteran, attorney, and I run a small business. I believe I can bring valuable experience and insight to the PRA. First, I've lived all over the country, seen redevelopment efforts fail in some places and succeed in others. I believe this board has done a tremendous job and want to participate in its continued success. My law firm works as the city attorney for Ocean Springs, and I believe that can give valuable experience and valuable insight here in Pascagoula, and I can leverage any experience there to try to avoid any pitfalls that they've seen in Ocean Springs. I believe there's a delicate balance between preserving what is historic, making way for meaningful new development. And finally, Pascagoula is my home, and I'd love to contribute to our progress here. And we've kind of hit on some of the things, ideas, and agenda items. One is, we don't have a lot of undeveloped acreage to work with as far as new residential development goes in Pascagoula. So I think it's important to invest in the improvement of the neighborhoods we do have. There's some really nice neighborhoods. They're charming, good trees, and I think if we invest, we can fill them up and have them renovated. I'm really impressed with the recent housing opportunities in the downtown area because Americans, across the country have expressed a desire to return to walkable communities. And that's now, possible here in town. We have strong industry in this city and tons of jobs. I want to attract people who work here to consider living here as well, rather than commuting. And I think we're on a great path to do just that with the developments this board has created. Just to sum it up, I feel like I can bring legal expertise, business acumen, and enthusiasm to serve.
Very good. Questions? Comments?
I got a question. So you're kind of sort of like Ms. Cook, someone who lived away and moved here. What was it that brought you here? What was it that made you choose Pascagoula over another location? And what do you need to stay for the next phase of your life? What would be the?
I wanted to live near the water, and obviously I was coming here for a job and family connections to the city. And I also looked in other cities around town. Looked in Goshen, looked in Ocean Springs, but those cities didn't have the community feel that I feel in Pascagoula. Driving to work, you'll wave to 5 of your buddies or someone just driving around town, and you don't get that. I grew up in Atlanta, so I know how congested things can get and how impersonal it can feel, and it's the opposite here. So that's what I like about it, and I like all the boating opportunities and the way we kind of emphasize our access to water. We've got the best boat ramp probably in Jackson County, if not the coast. So, all those things.
We're proud you came.
Thanks, sir.
Looking forward to you being here for a long time and doing great things for the city of Pascagoula.
I appreciate that.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. McCauley.
Thank you all.
Next, we have the docket of claims. We will make a decision. We're going to give some time to go over all this and give it some thought, and we will make a decision at our next meeting on this position for PRA. Everybody comfortable with that? Next is docket of claims. Any questions regarding the docket of claims? Do we have a motion to approve the docket of claims?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Next is the payroll docket. Are there any questions regarding the payroll docket? Do we have a motion to approve the payroll docket?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Next, we have the mayor council items. I want to agree with our neighbor on Washington Avenue that these flowers are looking great around the city. I don't know how you could be anywhere in Pascagoula and not see the wonderful, wonderful blooming petunias that have been planted by our friends at Turf Masters. They do a great job, and it lifts everybody's spirits to see the beautiful, beautiful landscaping that we've got going on. And I also think it's leading more people to take care of their own properties and improve their properties and keep their grass cut and keeping everything looking good. And it's just so encouraging to me, and that's my mayor item. Mr. Hyde, you have anything?
No more than, it's probably certain areas in my ward that's probably needing some attention, so far as trying to beautify the city. And I know that in the past, when City Manager Silverman was here, he was saying there was difficulty of contacting the owners of those properties, but we have some property that is just like a dump. And it's just making my area just look that not much better. And we can just draw some attention to those areas. I think it would be a big plus. Being as close as it is to Highway 90, I think it would be a big help. And just trying to get in contact with the owners of those properties, I don't. It seemed like some type of leverage or pressure should be put on them to try to want to keep up their property. They want to maintain it so far as holding on to it, but don't want to do the upkeeping of it.
Well, I would suggest what I do riding around town when I see something that I know needs attention and is a problem, I take a picture and write down the address and get that to the city manager, who will then get it to the right people at code enforcement and just stay on top of them. And hopefully code enforcement, although they've got certainly a backlog of dilapidated properties or unkempt properties, that would be the solution. And tell your citizens in your ward to do the same thing. Pick up the phone, take a picture, let somebody at City Hall know what's going on, and go for it.
Other than that, I think things move pretty great in the ward.
Good deal. Councilman Fournette?
I don't have any.
Nothing today?
No, sir.
Councilman Merrill?
No, sir.
Councilman Parker? Councilman Blythe?
Yeah, I'd like to say, in the last 4 years, Pascagoula has made some big changes. A lot of things have happened, and the PRA, and it's like Mr. Hinkle, who lives here, who has made things happen. We've really come a long ways. There's still a lot to do. We can always improve.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate the applicants tonight. You know, as the lady said, throwing their hat in. I appreciate y'all caring enough about our city that you would step up and apply for this position. I really do appreciate that.
Very good. Councilman Gatchell? Next is executive session. Do we have a motion to go into closed session to determine if there is a need for executive session? Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. That concludes the public portion of our agenda.